Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Eastern Caribbean. That right there is St. Kitts and Nevis. Sun's starting to go down on a gorgeous Caribbean evening. We are in the TBM 930. Gorgeous airplane, gorgeous day. That's Antigua right there below us. You can see the light in the airport right there. Bradshaw International. So we're getting ready here. Just move this out of the way real quick. Let's see. We've got, what, 22,000 feet to lose. Times, call it 66 nautical miles. So we've got another couple minutes before we have to worry about descending. We do, however, have to, I don't know if we have to load the approach yet. If it's loaded, it is loaded. Alright. Let's make sure here. Took off out of Piarco. Kind of a rainy day down there. But not, not looking too shabby up here, is it? So, it's 13 after the hour, so we can get the weather in Anguilla. Weather in Anguilla, wind is 070 at 12 knots. Visibility greater than 6 statute miles. Clouds few at 1,800 feet. Temperature 25, dew point 19. Altimeter 1016, so we'll write that down. 1016. Or 10163000. So in this airplane we've got you can change the QNH here from inches of mercury to QNH. You can change the altimeter here from inches of mercury to QNH. You cannot change it here, I don't think anyway. So you've got two different altimeter settings. So what we're going to be doing here, we are direct Alopo right now. Once we go past Alopo, then we've got Atma as our next waypoint, which is the initial approach fix for the RNAV 11 approach at Clayton J, Lloyd International Airport. Once again, got the approach plate pulled up here. And we're going to have to pay a little bit of attention here today to find out exactly. I don't know, to be honest with you, if in the GTNs, if you just click direct to a fix on an approach, it will activate the approach for you. Here I've got an activate approach button, so I think once I pass a Alopo, I can probably hit that because there's no other waypoint between between Ilopo and Atmut on my flight plan. But it may just do it automatically. I don't think it does. So, looking at ForeFlight here. $64 miles to Atmut. So it might be worth thinking about a descent at this point. Got 12 minutes. We've got you got traffic there off the nose. You can see that. Island Airways 633. So anyway, we've got 12 minutes to Atmut. We may as well start at least preparing for the descent. So Atmut is at 2,600 feet, so one thing that's really pretty annoying is that this mouse disappears very quickly, the cursor, and when the mouse cursor disappears, you gotta wiggle your mouse again to get it back. It's tough being me. I will set that to 5,000 and we'll do vertical speed mode. And we'll pull the power back here. It's saying user waypoint to Atmut, which is not what I don't know where that came from. If that's because keep an eye on the airspeed. If that's because that's where I started a descent, I don't know. Wouldn't seem to be a reason. Maybe we have hit a Ilopo already. Yeah, looks like well, that's the user waypoint and then a Ilopo. Doesn't really make any sense why it put a user waypoint in there, but let's take a quick look at the, I'll keep that airspeed over here in view. Take a quick look at the approach plate. Alright, Juliana approach 128.95. And I just read these 118.7, alright. Let me, 7, and I'm going to put 122.8 here, and I'm going to monitor both 1 and 2, so I can hear both, but I'll be transmitting to Juliana. Pull the power back just a little bit more. Alright, Juliana approaches 128.95, Lloyd Towers 118.5. This is an RNAV approach. Final approach course is 105. Glide slope intercept is 1,760 feet at PF11F, which is right here and right here. So LNAV, VNAV
Tower
approach.
11181, thanks for your services. Have a good night.
Oh, 181, thank you for flying with us. Hope to see you again. Good evening.
And that's Mohammed. He's a really cool guy. I like this controller. Anyway, field elevation 124 feet. Missed approach is climb straight ahead to 1,000. Then a climbing left turn to crook and hold. 1760 is the hold altitude. Altimeter is in QNH. Runway elevation, I don't know what that means, to be honest with you. 4 HPA. 4, I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, transition level, because we're descending, is flight level 065, so that's where we put in the altimeter setting is 6,500 feet. Visual segment, what is it? Penetrated by trees and terrain. That means keep your eyes peeled, don't get too low. Barrel, VNAV, blah, blah, blah. Don't have to worry about that. So we're hitting Atma at 2,600 feet. Course of 052 for 7 nautical miles to PF11I, which is the intermediate fix, and then we intercept the final approach course 105. PF11F is glide slope intercept. That's right here. That's where we begin our descent. It's a 3-degree descent, which is perfectly normal. At 90 knots, that's 478 feet a minute. There's a PAPI on the left side. That is the white and red lights there on the side of the runway to give you the glide slope. Then missed approach again, 1,000. Climbed straight ahead to 1,000 feet. Left turn to crook. LNAV, VNAV minimums. We are going to be flying this at 85 knots, so our minimums are 520 feet this evening. Have a look at this, ladies and germs. Alright, how far north or south are we, rather? Alright, let's give Juliana Tower a ring here. Juliana Tower, good evening. TBM 90261 Whiskey.
TBM 90261 Whiskey, good evening from Juliana Tower. Pass your message.
Tower, good evening. TBM 90261 Whiskey. We're about 20 miles south of your station. We are inbound for the RNAV 11 approach at CJ Lloyd. I don't know if you want us with you, or if we should just go to Unicom.
TBM 90261 Whiskey, you can stay with me and report airfield in sight.
We'll report the airfield in sight for TBM 61 Whiskey. Alright, let's make sure our lights are on. They are. Just a quick glance over everything, make sure everything's cool. Alright. So I don't think we're going to have any problems getting down to 2,600 at Atma. So he asked us to report the field in sight. It's 2,600 at Atma, correct? Yes. So he asked us to report the field in sight, so we'll do that. Alright, and there is St. Martin, the gorgeous, gorgeous island of St. Martin. What a beautiful part of the world. Looks like the sun just went down. Might be kind of dark by the time we get. Just want to dim the panel lights down just a little bit. do. Okay. Alright, so gosh, isn't that gorgeous? Alright, so I pulled up the chart on the iPad in front of me just so I have an easier view of it. That is right there is Philipsburg. That's the capital of the Dutch side. See Juliana Airport right there. Airport is right here. It's the runway. This is Simpson Bay right here. A place I would really like to be. Alright, so we're going to pull the power back to 33 on the torque. We should be good making omelet at 2,600 feet. The airport that we are going to is right there. So, this shouldn't be too complicated this evening. Visibility is good. Might be in the clouds briefly, but it's unlikely to really affect us. Alright, let's set the altimeter. 1016 and 3000. I always say if you're on an instrument flight and you're just sitting there looking around, something's wrong, because you should always be doing something on an instrument flight. Your mind should always be doing something. Start bringing that power back and slowing down just a little bit. If you've watched any of my previous videos about this airplane, what's so great about this airplane is that it flies at 29,000 feet at 330 knots, you know, for 1,500 miles. And then it lands like a Cherokee. It's just an amazing airplane. It's not difficult to get slowed down like a lot of jets are, because it doesn't have swept wings. It descends very easily. That's the trick with jets, really, and swept wing aircraft, is getting them slowed down. Believe it or not. I mean, it's, you know, they're easy to kind of handle, but to get down and slow down at the same time is not always easy, unless it's very well planned. I mean, it has to be very well planned. That's the bottom line. Whereas in this airplane, you know, I started thinking about the descent as I got in closer here to, you know, as I got to basically to Antigua. And when I look here at the PFD, or the MFD, and the flight plan, so we are on, this tells me right now that we're on the approach. I mean, this segment, this is below here where it says approach. So I'm going to assume that we're on the approach, that the approach is activated. That's Juliana right there, right off the wingtip, those red lights. And that's what can kind of be disorienting. Is kind of, you can't see Anguilla from here, and you're kind of wondering, there you go, give or take where you are. No, that's not Anguilla either. See? What I was talking about being disoriented. Airspeed's fine. I mean, this is basically going the speed of a Piper Arrow right now, 140 knots. So once we cross Atmut here, we're going to go down to 1760, which we can't set in the altitude select. So what we will do,
TBM 926 Whiskey, Juliana Tower is now closing. You can now monitor uniform 122.8. Thank you for flying with us. Good evening.
Alright, over to Unicom for TBM 90261 Whiskey, and have a great night.
You too.
Alright, so CJ Lloyd traffic, TBM 90261 Whiskey is Atmut inbound on the RNAV 11 approach, CJ Lloyd. So we'll hit vertical speed here, and we'll go down 500 feet a minute. And any real hurry here. We'll throw out that first notch of flaps. Amazing how quickly it gets dark in this part of the world. It gets dark very, very quickly. There's Anguilla. You can see the airport right there at about our 1:30, 2 o'clock. See, again, it's not giving me the activate approach option there, so my assumption is that we have activated the approach, or it has been activated on our behalf. So, we're about to make our turn inbound here. CJ Lloyd traffic, TBM 90261 Whiskey on a 10-mile final runway 11, CJ Lloyd. Alright, first notch of flaps is down. I'm going to put the gear down and start dirtying up the airplane, as they say. You can see here we've got 4.1 nautical miles to go until we begin our descent. See, is begin our descent here at PF11F. And I don't want to get slowed down because this airplane will slow right down to, once I drop the power to 23% on the torque and put in the landing flaps, this airplane will slow right down to 85 knots, so I don't want to quite get there yet. Although I will start slowing down right now to get us into flap range. Flap range is that white arc on the airspeed tape. So 2 miles from PF11F. See, again, we don't have that glide slope. And we should. So there's that second notch of flaps. And I do want that speed coming down. I don't know that I want it coming down that much, that quickly. It can tend to get a little slow. So I'll keep an eye on that little pink, see that little pink trend bar? That gets bigger as the change is happening faster. What that does is it tells you where your airspeed is going to be in 6 seconds. So it's not going to intercept the glide slope. So I'm going to have to bring the power back to 2300, or 23% rather, and then put the nose down. I go vertical speed, put the nose down, bring some power out. I want 400 feet a minute. At CJ Lloyd traffic, TBM 61 Whiskey is on a 5-mile final runway 11, CJ Lloyd. So 85 knots. Again, that glide slope did not come in. Maybe it's because I didn't. Oh, that's why. That's why. We were on the approach. I did not go into approach mode. So once again, it is the biological material sitting in the left-hand seat of the airplane that is the problem. That's the problem. That's why it didn't intercept. So I want to pick up a little bit of speed here because that way it'll keep me from getting too low. Alright, gears down and indicating, flaps are down. So I'm just watching that pappy on the left-hand side of the runway. See that red and white light on the left-hand side of the runway? I want 2 white, 2 red. And I don't want to get too low because we got 500 feet to go, by the way. 1,020 for 520. And So bring that up again to 300 feet a minute. See, now we got 1 white and 3 red. 820 for 520. This is a poor man's ILS the way I'm doing this. It's not the way it should be done. 720 for 520. That's 200 to go. Get a little jiggly in here. 620 for 520. $520 minimums continuing. I'm going to bring this nose up. I'm not going to descend anymore until I get those 2 whites. Okay. Autopilot is off. Power back here to 23. A little bit of a left crosswind, it feels like. Airspeed's okay. Yeah. It gets a little churlish in here when you're coming into Anguilla. Alright, 50 feet in the radio altimeter. Power back, power out. Into beta to slow us down. Don't want to slow us down that much, we're going backwards. One of the things I love about airports at night is the blue taxiway edge lights. They're so cool to look at. CJ Lloyd traffic, TBM 61 Whiskey is clear of the runway. CJ Lloyd. And yeah, again, I needed to put it in approach mode. That was the only boo-boo. So, power to idle, the prop over, or the lever over there to the right side. Bring that all the way back. Put on the parking brake. Master caution. Turn that off. Yeah, let's go here. Turn this off. The ignition, auto, turn the oxygen off. Turn the bleed off. One thing is you can't really see where the buttons and switches are. And we'll turn the generator and the battery off. put that down. I should have turned. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Amateur hour. It is amateur hour. I left the flaps down. That is pathetic. But you know what's not pathetic? Is this gorgeous, gorgeous scenery from SLH Sim Designs. Clayton J. Lloyd International Airport here on the beautiful island of Anguilla. This is only $15 US, and in my opinion, you're not a true Caribbean aviator until you've bought it. So go to slhsimdesigns.com or Sim Market and get yourself this awesome scenery. I've been to this airport so many times in real life, and I mean it's just exact. I mean it's exact how they've recreated it. It's beautiful. So there's Transanguilla. I've been on both of these airplanes. But beautiful flight. So number one, I need to make sure I hit approach mode, even though the approach is loaded and active. It doesn't do you any good unless you hit approach mode. And number two, put your flaps up. I mean, there's just no excuse for that. But other than that, it was a fun flight, and I hope you guys enjoyed.